Joe, your first game back, how did it feel, and what's the adjustment like when you come back to the AHL from the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, I felt pretty good out there. It was definitely nice to to play big minutes and play in all situations. It's always something nice for a player, and getting rewarded with ice time. It's always nice to be playing the game and being on the ice for sure. But I think just confidence. I think confidence was a big thing. Not saying that I didn't have it up there, but obviously, being familiar with the league and playing in this league before and playing with most of the guys here and knowing a lot more of the coaching staff and just I guess being familiar with everything obviously helps. And I guess just getting my feet wet on the ice. Like I said, I played a lot of minutes and just feeling the puck. Obviously, things started clicking a little bit. I think our line played pretty good for the most part. From a chemistry standpoint, and we had some good looks and stuff, but unfortunately we lost. But I think there were a lot of good things, and I was definitely um, happy to be on the ice a lot.
Playing with Berggren, he's a guy like yourself trying to make that permanent step up to the next level. What did you see in his game that was any different than, say, when the last time you were down here playing with him?
um, I think just his confidence. I think confidence is a huge thing, and he certainly has it for sure. I mean, he came down here. Well, his first couple of games, he definitely shown some flashes, and you can definitely see his creativity and his poise, his vision. But I think he's just taken it to a new level. I think he just everything's a lot quicker. I think he's learned a little bit more of the North American style game. Playing north and kind of attacking D and not just staying on the perimeter. But he's definitely a good player, and I like playing with him. He sees the ice really well. It's easy to just get an open spot and the puck's coming to you. So he's got a bright future, and he's a really talented player.
Did the Red Wings give you any kind of indication that is this going to be a permanent thing, or are you going back up when the break's over?
I don't know. I can't answer that yet. I mean, as far as I know, they just kind of told me to play this weekend, and I guess they're going to reevaluate, after this weekend and seeing what the situation is.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, a lot of players that come back and forth between the NHL and the AHL comment on the difference in speed between the two levels. But Ontario's a really deep, really talented team, one of the best in this league. Did the pace still feel like it was like a step behind tonight?
It did a little bit. I mean, there's obviously nothing compared to the NHL level. They're obviously a really good team. They play fast. They got a lot of skill. There are a lot of smart players on that team, and I played with a lot of them, most of them, back in junior or national teams, and I'm familiar with some of the players, and they got a really deep lineup. So it did feel. I definitely felt a lot more comfortable and way more poised, and thought I had a lot more time with the puck to make plays and look for plays. So that was definitely a positive, and I did notice it. Obviously you do notice it in the NHL, and then coming down here in the American League.
What parts of your game would you say have really evolved since you were back here in October? And what do you think might still need a little bit of work?
I think everything, honestly. I can never be too good at anything, and I think I've taken huge steps over the last couple of years, and I guess being physically a lot more stronger, um, being better defensively, kind of reading the game better, being in better positions. I for sure would definitely like my production level to increase a lot. So I guess I'm really looking forward to studying the game and learning how to create more offense and try to be in better positions or kind of when just reading plays a bit better offensively. And I think I'll be fine. I mean, I think for the most part of my game, my defensive game is taking steps, but like I said, I need to work on everything. I could always get better defensively also, and I could always get stronger, could always get faster. So I'm definitely a student of the game, and when I was up there, I was learning a lot from the best players and watching them when I could, and just taking tips from everyone up there and kind of using it on the ice whenever I could.
And now, as you've been up there as a regular with Red Wings, and as you've learned so much, and you've seen these guys here in the locker room here, what advice could you give to some of those guys like Berggren or anyone else who's trying to break into the next level?
Yeah, well, I think for young players, it's when you get up there, I think the biggest thing is you definitely want to make a good impression, and everyone's excited to be there. You're excited to step on the ice, but I think it's just having the right mindset. I guess remembering what got you to this point. Don't try to, change your game. Still play with confidence and play with poise. And I think just being consistent as well. I think it's an everyday league in the NHL, and every game you gotta show up and can't really take nights off. So I think it's important for young players to kind of learn that and to kind of mentally prepare every single game and to be ready to work every day.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Yeah, thanks.
Ben, first of all, what did you see in the game? The team's still struggling to find a win. Did you see hopeful signs tonight?
You know what? I thought we didn't manage the puck very well to start the game, but I thought we progressively got better in the first period and significantly outshot them in the first period, and we're down 1-0. They've got the number one power play in the league. At the end of the day, we can't afford to take lazy penalties or penalties in general at inopportune times, and it just came back to bite us in the ass. So positive signs, I thought we generated a lot of shots. I thought we had some quality scoring chances. Our power play finally got on the board, which is encouraging. I thought we moved the puck around pretty well in the PP, and then just a little bit disappointing with our lack of discipline and execution on the PK.
Getting Joe Veleno back, how much does that help? And when you get a guy back who's been in the NHL for a while like that, is there an adjustment period for him at all?
I think there's an adjustment period anytime you go to a different group, a different team. Obviously you're dealing with the emotions of being sent down to a certain extent, but I thought Joe did a great job of being a pro and coming down. He's been here. He knows what we're about. He knows the majority of these guys. So I thought that he, made the transition tonight just fine. But when you get a guy like that back, not just because you played in the NHL, obviously the best league in the world, but you're getting a guy that's had success. He'll help us drive the offense a little bit more down here, which we've been struggling with. So it's good to get and on top of that, he's a centerman. So, we'll take an offensive centerman. And actually Joe was pretty responsible defensively as well.
Has that been part of the issue, since you lost Barber? Obviously, he was a big offensive spark for your team.
Well, it's I won't say a glaring hole, but and when you lose a guy that can score 30 goals a year and your next guy has a career high of 17 or 18 goals, it's tough. We're generating chances. We're getting good opportunities. We're just not finishing our chances. So we have to find a way to score goals, and it's going to have to be by committee. Some teams have one or two big studs. We don't have that one or two big stud to do the job. We have to find ways to, again, execute on the power play, take advantage of our power play opportunities, and find ways to score a little bit more gritty, greasy goals around the net front. They're not going to be pretty goals, and that's the identity of our group. We have to find a way to get a little bit dirtier around the net.
Hey, thanks a lot, Ben.
We also have Andrew Rinaldi.
Coach, earlier today, Sean Horkoff was named the general manager of the Griffins. Did you know that this move was coming today, and have you had a chance to talk with him about the goals for this team moving forward?
Yeah, I was aware of what was happening, yes. And obviously I've known Sean for a long time. We played against each other in college when I was at Notre Dame and he was at Michigan State. So chased each other around the ice for a few years in college. And then he's been here in Detroit in development and in the front office and in management probably for the last 6 or 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. But when I was an assistant coach, he was part of the player development crew. And he's kind of segued out of that and into different facets of the front office. And but he's always been involved with player development, building relationships with the group we have here. So it's going to be a seamless transition for him because he knows a lot of these players. He's already cultivated and grown great relationships with them. He knows the coaching staff. He knows our positives. He knows our deficiencies, not only as a team, as individuals, as a group. At the end of the day, his job is to help us continue to get better. And so it'll be obviously a little bit of an acclimation period. There's some things that we have to talk about that he may not be aware of. But our job is to work together and put the best product we can on the ice and make sure we're developing these players as best we can.
And then, you got a quick turnaround against this Ontario team, real talented, real deep. Aside from maybe, cutting down on the penalties, what other changes do you think need to be made for success against this team?
Well, they're a fast team, so I do think we gave up a few chances that we could have corrected in being a little bit smarter and less erratic with our play. Got to make sure we're staying above. Our angles up ice have to be a little bit better so that we're not giving up chances off the rush. I mean, if you look at this team, they're leading the league in goals for per game. Before the game, they're at 4.09 or something. So they're over 4 goals a game average, but they're only they're middle of the pack in shots on goal. So they're very opportunistic. They've got a lot of guys that can finish. So you can't give them many opportunities. We can't. A couple times in the game tonight, it was a little bit run and gun, loose structured both ways, and we can't afford to get into a track meet like that and run and gun game. So just cleaning up I think a little bit more with our structure with what we want to do with our play, both with and without the puck. We've got to do a better job of getting pucks behind their defensemen and making them defend, because they're a pretty good team with the puck. It's tough to score when you're 200 feet away from your net. So we got to make sure we're establishing a forecheck and trying to make sure we're pressuring their D so we can spend some time in the ozone.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Sure.